game. No, I have to run away. Make it to Bay. Then I know that I'll be safe for the day. We're just cops and robbers, running down the street. We're just cops and robbers, who will see their family. We're just cops and robbers, running down the street. We're just cops and robbers, who will see their family tonight. Play the game. You know I have to chase you. Ooh. Can't escape. Only rules can break you tonight. We're just cops and robbers, running down the street. We're just cops and robbers, who will see their family. We're just cops and robbers, running down the street. We're just cops and robbers, who will see their family. We're just cops and robbers, running down the street. We're just cops and robbers, who will see their family tonight.
Here we are, another episode of the Artistry of Podcast. I am he. He is me. I was trying to think of the Snoop Dogg line. I is him, and no, he is I, and I is him. Right. So I jacked it all up. You know, look, man, that's just how it's going to be sometimes. Okay. I'm going to jack it up. Jack it up. Never start and then never start. Jack it up. Right? So, look, I'm going to do that. Do that. Do that. Oh, man. My freaking internet connection. So I can pause it so you guys don't have to listen while I try to fix this. All right, so we're back. Let's check this. All right, that's good. Let's go to Google because we might get into some stuff. Okay, we might get into some juice, and whenever we get into some juice, then it could get real. I don't know how real, but I'm jacking up some spellings right now. Jeez. I'm sure it'll fix it for me. All right, there we go. All right. So, we'll get into it, right? But first, before we do any of that, this will be the time we're going to be talking about some sponsors, right? Now, I do have an idea of what I want to talk about because, I've been watching. This week has been like serial killer week. And just, checking that out, I was like, man, this stuff is crazy. And then you got, what? I don't even know. You got something. Oh, yeah. Then you got the previous episode and just any questions and stuff like that. Now, normally, I guess this would be the time when I talk about sponsors. And you guys remember, I wanted to do it on a different day. Maybe I can get away from yawning, right? Which maybe we could try it next week. Next week will be Memorial Day. And we'll try it then. Right. So what's been going on? Same old, right? Just work is like Groundhog's Day. It really is. It's like Groundhog's Day. You just do the same thing over and over and over again. But I have a project that I'm working on, and that's really requiring a lot of my time. Like I wasn't even going to record today. I wasn't. I was just going to just focus on this project, right? Because like it just needs to be done, and then I can start talking about it and just start pushing it and really get to where I want to be, right? So I might, yeah. So I'm gonna take off. So I'm gonna take off these next few weeks and focus exclusively. So this is the only thing. So I'm gonna, like, all right, I'm still gonna practice Tekken, but I'm not gonna be playing anybody, and I'm not gonna record for the rest of these weeks until I finish my project, right? So I'm trying to finish it up by the end of the month. Like that's where I need to be. So yeah, so that's how we're gonna run it. That's just the only way. Right? Like, look, that's just the only way. It's the only way we can do it. So yeah, that's how we're gonna run it. But in the meantime, right? And I don't know, like, man, look, I gotta do this, right? Because this usually lasts about an hour and some change, sometimes 2 hours. But for the most part, I really have to get on that. So I'm not gonna stop this, but what I'll do is I won't make long episodes. So that's what I'm gonna do. So the episodes won't be that long, only so that I can focus and really jump in on that project. I really hate that I'm yawning, and there's a book. It's called The War of art. You guys are thinking, oh, it's The Art of War, and that's a book, but this book is the war on art, or the war of art, and it basically addresses procrastination and like body triggering things that happen when it's time to create, when it's time to do something that you want to do, and it kind of sets up a system that'll help you navigate through so that you can get through, and you can focus, and you can do whatever it is that's creative that you want to do. And one of the things like I focus on, like even with the podcast, what I practice is taking a subject, taking a topic, and just talking about that subject, talking about that topic for the whole time. Right. So far, I mean, that's what I've been doing. But with the introduction of the last episode, the focus was shifting from topic to topic. And I don't believe that I shifted too much. So now, like, that's what I have to focus on, is being able to rattle off on a little bit, right? Rattle off a little bit on a certain topic, and then go, boom, hit the next one. Boom, hit the next one, right? So I'm definitely going to try to do that. But at the same time, the whole point of practicing this, focusing on one topic and really just sticking with that one topic, is because once I start to interview other people and start to talk to other people, what's going to happen is, what I found for the most part is that some people, this is their first time. Like, they kind of clam up and they really can't talk as much, and they don't know what to talk about. And you have these dead moments, you have these dead spaces, right? So this is why, like, I practice on just drilling and focusing on a topic, and just keep going and going and going and going. So this way, if I'm having a conversation with a person and let's say it's kind of drying up, like, I can still keep it going until I feel like, okay, boom, or whoever I'm having that conversation with, till they feel comfortable, and maybe they can, like, oh yeah, this reminds me of this and that, right? But for the most part, I mean, it's just real boring. Like, you get these people who really don't know how to talk. It's really tough because what you find is, you find them starting to lack. You find them starting to like zone out and just going somewhere else. It's like, yo, but this, man, this train is moving. Like, yo, what are you doing right now? Right. So I've definitely been on some train wrecks. And it's like, man, like, yo, just suicide. It's a suicide, right? So that's crazy. But anyway, we had a comment on one of the previous episodes. So let's go ahead and address that, and then we'll get into whatever we're going to talk about. So let's cue it up and see what we got. And this is a function that I've been trying to use, and just kind of seeing, okay, how does it look? How does it sound on air? So we're about to find out. Here we go. Let's check this out.
Yo, what's up? This is Esteban. Just had a question for the Artistry of podcast.
What up, bro? How you doing? Esteban, coming from the beaches of the USA. You got a question? Let's hear it. Tell us why you mad, son. Tell us why you mad.
And for you, Mr. Bo Miles. First off, just letting you know you're doing a good job with these podcasts.
Thank you, man. I definitely appreciate it. All right.
Definitely keeping our interest. I like how you change the topics up each week. I like how they span from being personal to just, what's going out there in the world. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, man. I definitely appreciate it. And I try to, like, if it's something that's really on my mind, and if listen to your heart, right? Then boom, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just let it out, right? So I'm glad that you guys are listening and appreciate the different things. All right, go ahead.
We're out here listening. Entertain us. Anyways, I had a question or comment. I think it was like the last podcast or maybe the one before that. I forget the title. You were talking about the police violence and the police, all these tragedies that keep happening where they're shooting minorities and just making stupid calls and stuff, Yeah, and I agree with you. Sometimes it is like you were saying, sometimes it is the victim's fault because they already know that there's certain things you just cannot be doing, especially.
Right, man. Like, yo, man, these victims out here, I mean, they not victims. Like, yo, I mean, we just gotta keep it real. I know, man, this is not helping the movement. I know that it's not, but we just gotta keep it real, man. Some of these cases is like, yo, come on, man. Are y'all serious right now, man? Light them up.
Once they got their gun drawn, you just got to, as much as you can, comply. But as we've seen in the past, that even complying, if they pull out that gun, you pretty much have been served a death warrant if you're a minority, So you just never tell, But like in that particular case where they shot the guy in the back 7 times, I think his name was Jacob. I forget the name, but you know who I'm talking about. They shot him in the back in front of his kid and family and neighborhood. He shot him 7 times in his back, And that was uncalled for. He, especially in this climate, he should have known, just fucking listen. Just stop and listen. But
yeah, man. See, that's the thing, man. Like, yo, what was going on? Now, more information came out about that case, and they were saying that it was they was called because of a domestic dispute, and I don't know if there was some type of restraining order or what, but I don't believe that he was supposed to be around there. Maybe he wasn't even supposed to have his kids, but he's like, yo, nah, you feel me? So, like, yo, that was crazy. Let's keep going.
At the same time, it ain't his fault. Like, just because these police are getting their feelings hurt out here, they ain't getting the respect they think they should get. They instantly think that you should fear them or obey, And just because somebody doesn't, it's going to be an emotional situation, or they feel like they didn't do nothing wrong, that doesn't give the cop a right to take your life. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, these cops could avoid, whether they're in the wrong or the right, they could avoid a lot of this. And I think what cops need to start doing is, I think that starting from the academy, these guys, every single cop needs to be a certified monster or, very well versed in jiu-jitsu. And I wanted to ask you because.
All right, so should everybody be versed in jiu-jitsu? And I'm gonna say, yeah, man. I definitely agree with you that having physical training to where you feel comfortable in these environments and you feel comfortable going into an altercation, right? And it's gonna be jiu-jitsu. It's gonna be I would say like Krav Maga, which is an Israeli fighting system, which incorporates a little bit of a bunch of fighting techniques, and they just brought them all together. And it's like jiu-jitsu and striking. I definitely would say that these cops need this type of stuff. Like you just do. Like, yo, you gonna panic. You just never know. And just that fact that you never know and that you're not drilling, you're not going over these situations. Like, yo, man, that's a problem. Let's hear what else he has to say, because he left us a good, long, message. So yeah, let's go ahead and get it, because it's not like I have 1,000 of these So now everybody can't be heard. So right now everybody can be heard. Let's check. Let's finish it up.
Yo, this is Esteban again. Looks like my message got cut off or cut short. Anyway.
Yeah, it cuts off. On this Google message for the Google Voice, it lets you leave a 3-minute message, and then after the 3 minutes, then it cuts you off. Let's listen. Continue.
I'll try to make a point about police training and incorporating jiu-jitsu and what your thoughts were about it. And here's why. So it seems like most of these shootings and this police violence stems from, well, yes, there is racism for one, so we got to, nip that in the bud. But two is these cops are scared. Like they're supposed to be highly trained police officers, but you can see and hear the panic in their voice.
Nah, man, you're right. You're right, man. A lot of these cops are out here afraid, and I would be afraid as well, right? So if only thing I'm giving is a gun, and I'm giving all of these horrible stories on how cops died before me, then it's like, yo, oh man, I gotta be ready. And you're on edge, but really for the most part, the majority of these cops don't see, this type of life-changing action. Right, every cop doesn't see it, but you gotta be ready, and that's where the training comes in. Let's hear it. Keep going.
And how emotional they get. One in physical one in direct verbal conversations, but that's a mental thing they have to work on, right? Weekly, and then two in physical conversations like high pressure. Or, high pressure situations where you went from 0 to 100 in a second, they don't know how to control themselves. Like they are panicked. And most times they're more scared than the assailant. In my history, I've gotten pulled over by a cop at gunpoint.
Oh man, I got pulled over by gunpoint. Yo, that is crazy. That's crazy for you to even have that story. Why? Man, tell us what happened.
Before, this bitch thought, I either fit a description. All I did was an illegal U-turn, but my car must have matched.
Dog, man, yo, those illegal U-turns, dog. You know what that U is for, you in the ground. Yo, you's a dead motherfucker now. That's what that U for, man. Don't be hitting us with those illegal U's, man. Man, Huey, Dewey, and Huey. Look, man, you's a dead boy.
The profile was somebody that was also Hispanic. So.
Oh yeah. Of course, man. You definitely fit the profile. We all fit the profile.
This guy's Hispanic. He's driving this exact kind of car around. Must be the guy. This is our guy. We got our man. Fucking Dudley Do-Right bullshit, right? So she's pulls me over. Immediately pulled her gun, and she's just yelling at me. Put your hands on the steering wheel. Turn your car off. Which I already.
Now. Okay, I get it. Did she check the license plate? Did she check the plates to see is this car stolen? That's what I want to know. Did she do that? Did she get your license and registration? Man, just guns are drawn. Yo, guns are blazing. Yo, man, this is Call of Duty, whatever. The LAPD edition, right? So they, which that's only a matter of time. All right, these Call of Duties and these modern warfare games, they're all military, but at some point, yo, when are y'all gonna address the local military, the militia, the police department?
All I was doing was going to the grocery store to get some medicine, right? Because I wasn't feeling good. And
right. That's what they, that's what they all say, man. That's what they all say.
I'm already I parked in the corner where there's no way I'm going to speed away. I've basically barricaded myself. I did that on purpose so she could.
Oh man, now she's on 10 now, dog. She didn't back the rat into the corner. Only thing he got left to do is lunge right at her, man. Bite her nose clean off.
See, I'm not going to try to run away. I turned the vehicle off as soon as I saw her get out of her car, and I kept my hands on the wheels. Let me see your hands. They're on the wheel, dude. Anyways, she's
Nah, man, you could have had one of those transforming wheels that transform into a AR-15. You know, like, look, man, she not gonna fall for the okie doke, okay? She's not gonna fall for the okie doke. Like, you got one of those transforming cars. You're probably a transformer yourself. Remember in which one was it? Maybe Transformers 2, when the girl, Shia LaBeouf, his girlfriend, transformed. Like, yo, she was in human form, and then she transformed into a robot. Like, yo, it's like everywhere I look, everywhere I go, I see the same hoe.
Asking you the procedure of, like, you know, hey, do you have any weapons and this and that? And like, well, you know, I have a concealed handgun carry license and gun. So I'm like, yes, I have a license to carry and I have a gun in my car. And immediately, dude.
Now, that, right there, when you said that you have a license to carry, like, then that means that you've been looked at. They've looked at you. They've scrubbed your record. They've tried to find any little flaw to deny you that. And just the fact that you got it, that means that for the most part, you are clean, right? Now, we're going to get into some of these serial killers later, and they were clean too. But look, they weren't killing cops. They weren't cop killers.
You can hear the panic in her voice. She's like, oh my God. She's literally verbally saying, okay, she really starts yelling and starts saying, oh God, oh God. And then she's calling back up in her little shoulder mic thing, her shoulder, whatever, you know, I let her know I'm not belligerent. Do what you got to do. Take your time.
That's funny. So she just revved up. Oh God, we got him. We got him. What gave him away? He has a license to carry. Like, like, oh man, he told me that he had a gun, so I know he's a cop killer. These cop killers, man, that's how they do it. That's exactly how they do it. They want their look. It means nothing to kill somebody who doesn't know that you have a gun. Nah, you gotta let them know. Look, I got a gun. You gotta be like Riddick on the Chronicles of Riddick. Like, yeah, you know, he just goes on this elaborate scheme on what's gonna happen. Look, first the lights are gonna go off, and then y'all gonna panic. All right, Joey over here, he's gonna go hide in the corner. Sam, you're gonna be the first to die. Right, these creatures, and he just goes on like. That's the type of cop killer you are. So, all right, let's hear what else. How does this play out?
I ain't moving. Nothing. I was trying to reassure her, but nothing was helping. She was panicking. It's like she had never been in a conversation, not once in her life, you know? Anyways, this is where jiu-jitsu comes in. Jiu-jitsu gives you a lot of confidence. It makes you, know how to handle physical.
Yeah. I definitely, I'm definitely with you there. I definitely feel like jiu-jitsu can give you a sense that if this thing gets physical, you know where you stand, right? Like that's the thing about it. Right now, she's expecting a gun battle. She's expecting to be gunned down, right? So that's going to be different. Like jiu-jitsu is not going to you're not going to be ready for that. But that's where the firearm training comes in, right? Jiu-jitsu is going to give you that confidence so that you're physically, you're not afraid. Unless, and I wouldn't say you're physically not afraid, but what it will do, it will guarantee that you understand where you are. You understand your strengths. You understand your weaknesses. And it's going to take time. It's really going to take time for you to get there. If this is your second week in training some jiu-jitsu, like, look, I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee that this killer, you run up on a killer, like, I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to subdue him, right? But after a few years of training and you're going every maybe two, I would say cops should go maybe twice, at least twice a week. Right now, I'm not sure how these cops, how their day is mapped out. I'm really not sure. I'm sure that they have a lot of paperwork. So if we can just kind of get rid of that paperwork and set up, like I said, 2 to 3 days a week, they train for at least an hour, right? There's some instruction going over it. I feel like that's definitely going to help a lot of these situations that we're seeing where these cops are going up on the scene and they're really tense and they're like, ugh, right? Because what we're doing is we're looking at situations that don't really need the aggression. So you can start at 10, right? Now get on the ground, get on the ground. You're just yelling and screaming. Like, you can start there, but once you see that it's not that type of situation, with proper training, you can just scale it all the way down. Okay, all right. And I've done that. He has more. Let's continue, because he's making some really good points, and it's crazy what happened to him with the female cop. But just looking at her position, which I love female cops. Like, a lot of them are beautiful and they have really nice bodies. You can see them in that uniform. You can definitely tell. Like, a lot of them be working with that Yankee ink. Let's continue.
This is where jiu-jitsu comes in. It makes you physically more calm. It makes you more confident in your abilities. If you're training it, every day or every few days, you are used to these, physical confrontations, or, when you're on an arm length with a person. I don't know why she's so scared when she's the one pointing the gun at me, I'm sitting, she's behind me, dude, behind, let's say, I'm in the driver's seat and she's in the seat behind me, pointing the gun either at me or down towards the driver door.
Right. So she's in serial killer mode. Right. She done killed a couple people like this. This is her thing. This is how she likes to kill her men. She likes to get them. Let me see your hand. Put your hands where I can see them. She gets behind them, execution style. Only thing really you had to do was get on your knees and beg for your life. And then look, she was ready to go. This is the way that she do it. So, I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you that, that simulation is going to help in reality, right? If you keep going into the simulation, you keep practicing. That's one of the main things. If you guys remember X-Men, the cartoons, right? That's what they had. They had a simulator that they would go in and they would train for these situations. Why? Because they're gonna encounter these situations, right? Every week we encountering the Sentinels. Every week we're encountering some bad guy. We got the Sinister, and what was that? The with Apocalypse and Mr. Sinister. What was their group called? I think it was the Four Horsemen or something like that, right? So you look, you're gonna fight these people. You're gonna fight these people every week. And look, you're X-Men, you're Xavier's man. I can't have y'all out there, fumbling the ball. Not fighting with the skill and tenacity of an X-Man, right? So we need to be training every day. This is what we saw as kids. So we know that aggression and especially fighting evil, fighting the bad guys, protecting the innocent, right? Protecting the innocent. You need to prepare, and you need to be training. You need simulations. Let's continue. So
she can pull it up really fast, backup arrives and they pull me on, and it's 8 cops, and of course if I was white, that shit wouldn't have happened. And if to tell you the truth, the darker you are, the more quickly the problem can escalate.
Right, man. Because, man, pigmentation is a prerequisite for super predator, right? So the darker you are, that's what God, he marked people. That's what the darkness means. The darkness means violent. It means aggression, right? So when we're all babies, we don't have any pigmentation. But that's because we're safe. We're docile, right? But each day that you live, when you're dark, you just grow more aggressive, right? That's proven.
You know what I'm saying? If I was a shade darker, I might have just been shot instantly, or I would have been allowed a couple more seconds and then been shot. But anyways, 8 cops arrive. I do everything they say. I comply. I make sure I'm making eye contact with them, and I'm making sure, when they tell me to take off my seatbelt out of the car, I'm fucking I'm sort of like scared on the inside, but I let them know, look, I'm gonna take this one finger and I'm gonna push that button, and you guys take my seatbelt off.
Now, see, man, like that, like, come on, dog, like that. That's like psychos, man. Like, come on, if it's 8 cops there, can we surround the car? Right? Let's get a couple on the right. Let's get a couple on the left. You don't want to be in front, but you said you put yourself in a position where you couldn't even go forward. So let's get all points of view, and can we get his license? Can we run the car and see if it's stolen? Man.
I'm not going to fuck up, because I know what happens if you're a minority and you get fucking pulled over like that. Anyway.
Right, man. If you're a minority, you better keep a secret like a bitch in a sorority. That would have been fresh, but in this day and age, man, you can't be calling ladies bitches. Okay, so I apologize for that. For the one, or I don't think one lady has made it this far in the podcast. But if you didn't make it this far, I do apologize. Like I don't mean anything hurtful by it. It was a line, and it was just because he was saying minority. So you know. Oh, but I do have a gripe with females in a sorority. We'll get to that maybe in some other episode.
Anyways, they pull me aside, they search my car, they do all the little background check, and I ain't the guy. I'm not the fucking guy, right? You know, lo and behold, a Hispanic who's not fucking doing crime, you know? So yeah, that's a story for another day. But the jiu-jitsu, if this would have got physical, I would have been shot immediately, you know? And I just feel like, what do you think? Since you train in jiu-jitsu, a lot of these people get shot because these cops are so scared and have no confidence in their game. They're supposed to be highly trained, but they always go for the fucking head or chest shot. When you're walking behind somebody and they haven't done nothing yet, yeah, you shouldn't shoot them. But if you're so highly trained, why can't you shoot somebody in the leg before? Right.
And man, it just goes to what you're saying, right? You're highly trained, but what are you trained at, right? What are you trained at? And these guys are training to end the threat. They're training to kill. Like, that's what they're training. They're not training to put you down. They're not training because, like, unfortunately, like, some of these guys, man, they want bodies. Like being a cop and killing is the same as playing a basketball and dunking. Like, yo, can you dunk? You know, I shoot threes. Oh, you shoot threes? But can you dunk? Right? So it's like, yo, have you arrested somebody? It's like, yeah. Okay. What about, have you taken a life yet? Right? Like, that's when you really are in. That's when you're in. When you take a life. So these guys, that's what they're training for. Like, that's what they're training for. I can't even say like I remember like I was there. But World War I, the Americans, when they checked the guns, they found that more than 80% of the guns weren't even shot during World War I from the American soldiers. They didn't want to shoot. A lot of people hesitated. More than 80% did not shoot their gun. So what happened in World War II was the stop and pop method was developed. It was to where you just automatically pull up your gun. It's just like how we train in Tekken, right? Punishment training. You pull out your gun, you shoot in the chest, you shoot in the head. As soon as you come up, boom, right in the chest, right? And some of you first-person shooters players, right? You guys know this. When you play and when you practice and just when you play the game, that's what you go for, right? You go for those headshots. Now, when you playing Gears of War, depending on what level it is and how much you've been playing, you might want to spray their legs, make them drop down, and then you get to crack them on their head, or right. So the whole idea is that's how these cops are training. This method was developed so that you wouldn't think. You would just automatically pull a gun up, aim for the chest, aim for the head. The chest is going to be an easier target to hit because it's more chest than it is head. A headshot is going to be like an expert shooter and mainly like long range. But for the most part, you're gonna shoot in the chest because it's more mass. So you're gonna hit something and you're going to take your target down, especially if you have the right type of bullet with that stopping power. Now, nines and Glocks, the 9mm bullets, they can just go right through you. Now, if you're on PCP and you get shot, the bullet go in and then it comes out. Boom, you ready to still do some damage and you high, so you're not even feeling the pain, right? So that's why these cops, I mean, they're just a product of a system that was developed in World War II to eliminate judgment, to eliminate consciousness. Look, man, this is a life. Nah, look, I don't need that. I need you out there killing, right? We're talking about war, but it translated over to the police force, unfortunately.
But they get a chance to get in their car, and you think they're going to get a gun, just shoot them in the leg. Like, why don't more people get shot in the leg? Or if you got fucking 5-1, why don't you guys just bum rush the guy and tackle him to the ground and just end it there?
Right.
But they always shoot first and ask questions later. I just think they need more. They need jiu-jitsu training from the get in a police academy. Everyone needs to be on the job. You have to at least be a blue belt,
And I would definitely work with that, right? So I would say when you first get on the force, let's say you're a white belt. Boom, you're still a cop, right? You still have to do the things that are required of cops, but someone at a higher level should always be within 10 minutes of wherever you are at all times. So no matter whatever range, no matter what territory that you're patrolling, there should always be somebody at a higher rank than you in the jiu-jitsu department. Let's see what else.
And if you're on a job for so many years, you have to graduate to a brown belt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, because it's going to take years, right? It takes longer to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu than it is to become a doctor. That was an old saying that they used to say back in the day. And that's true. I mean, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of dedication. And that's where I feel like jiu-jitsu is definitely going to help these cops, but at the same time, we need to weed out some of these glory hungry and just sadistic cops. These guys who want to kill. We really need a way to find them. Now, I don't know what's that way, but because what you'll do is you'll have somebody, all right, now you know jiu-jitsu. This is your job, so you can't stop. Like, you can't stop jiu-jitsu, whereas some people would stop. Like I remember there was a case in D.C., and this was one of the guys. So I'm not going to say his name because he's a good guy. He got caught up with some stuff as well, But in his gym, 2 black belts, they were accused of raping a female that also went to the gym. And I want to say they had it on film. Like, it was at a parking lot. It was at a parking lot in D.C. and two black belts, that's what they got hit with. Now, this happened a while ago, so I guess I could look it up and see how did it play out, right? But like, just from me training jiu-jitsu, like, that just makes me sad, right? It really makes me sad because we have this idea that, all right, so if you've been training in jiu-jitsu that long and you've obtained your black belt, I mean, you shouldn't be partaking in that type of behavior where you could use your jujitsu to rape somebody, right? Like man, like that is the worst. That really is. That is the worst. And jujitsu, like we talking about Brazilian jujitsu, it's very honor centric. Like we're talking about a man's man, right? We're talking about the upper levels of jujitsu. We're talking about a man's man. We're talking about if you're training under me, right? If I'm your sensei, I'm your sifu, and you speak bad on me and you speak bad on the school, I have the right to go and find you wherever you may be and beat your ass up. Like I have the right to do that. And there are some senseis who have done that, and it has been recorded. It is on YouTube. It is on World Star. Like, look, man, this like jiu-jitsu. We talk about Brazil, the culture there, the fighting culture, like it's serious. And to the point that, okay, you got these black belts that did that. Look, in jiu-jitsu, we say, kill them. Kill those guys. No, we're going to kill them. You know, like, yo, like, no, man. You know, so, and I bring up that story because that's what you would get with some of these cops. Now you're arming these sociopaths that would normally quit. They would drop out of jiu-jitsu before they would even obtain the skill and the power to do something like this. They would drop out. But because it's a job, they can't drop out. Because it's a job, they just got to keep going and just, you know, just learn, or let me just get by, right? So you're going to get people who just trying to get by, and it's like, man, so that's why I feel like on top of jiu-jitsu, we need a process to weed out these bad people. And these people, they just run from department to department, right? Right before they're about to get fired, the boss gives them a chance, right? Because he's looking at it like, look, man, they're a human being, and they should, you know, I don't want to ruin their life forever. I want to give them another chance. We should get another chance. Right now, you're not giving the criminals, the so-called criminals, another chance. You're not giving the suspected another chance, right? It's like, yo, fuck them. But when it comes to our brothers in blue, well, we're gonna give them another chance. We're not gonna mention any of the crazy stuff and the killings that he's done. He's a fucking little Jason Voorhees over here, you know. Look, man, every Friday the 13th, like, yo, he just get a little buck wild on black teenagers as ready to have sex, and my Latin teenagers that's ready to have sex, right? So, and smoke weed. You know, look, he's ready to go buck on him. He's ready to go Voorhees. So it's like, yo, man, we need a way that we can really root out this problem, right? Root out and kind of weed out these guys, find them and get rid of them, right? Like, that's what we need, because I think jiu-jitsu is going to help because of the drilling. Like, you're constantly putting yourself in situations where you're seeing confrontation. Like, you're constantly doing that. And one of the things that I always wanted to do, even when I was a kid, was be able to defeat somebody who's stronger than me, right? Because when you're a kid, if a person is stronger than you, then they're gonna defeat you. Right. So I always wanted to be able to defeat people who are physically bigger and physically stronger than me. And so in jiu-jitsu, I will always seek those guys. I would always go after those guys and grapple with those guys. And I remember when it started to turn, like, boom, I could beat these guys. Right. Like, I remember when it happened, when it first started to happen, like, okay, like, okay. Right? Like, that's when you get that confidence that band was talking about. Right? When you know, okay, this person is bigger, this person is stronger than me, this is how I'm going to address this puzzle, right? This is what I have to do. So I know what to do. And, I got into a physical like a real confrontation with somebody, who was stronger than me. Right. And one of the things, like, because you just never know, like, so I'm not really going to go into detail because one of the things that I like, I'm not going to say because, remember when I was talking about the, war on art? Well, the art of war is, look, keep secrets from your enemies, keep secrets from your foes, right? Surprise them. So I will say that, and I will say that that altercation ended in my favor, but I knew. So like even once the person grabbed me, right, and so I could already see that, okay, he could possibly be stronger than me. I could already see it, right? But once he grabbed me, I could feel it, and just automatically, like, it wasn't even a panic moment. It was, look, just another day at the office. Like, that's what it turns into for me, right? But for him, you figure once I turned the tide, then he started to panic. Right? Like, he started to panic. And I've seen that as well in the gym. I've seen people panic. Right? I've seen people panic. So I was already expecting that. So that's the main thing that Bam is saying. And I definitely agree with him where that's what we have to put our cops in these situations. Right? And Bam went on to say, like, all right, have these simulations. Right? Have these detailed simulations and have, actors and have, like, really create the simulation so that these cops can go through it and these cops can experience it. And I would say to have people that are better, like, so have higher levels. So if you're a white belt, have like blue belts and purple belts carry out these simulations, like where you get your ass kicked in it. So you go in there to arrest the guy, right? And this guy, like, yo, you really can't take him down. You really cannot handcuff him because he knows your techniques. He knows what you're going to do, right? You have to experience that. Like, I was getting demolished by bigger and stronger guys. I was getting demolished. And I remember one time, like, I wanted to cry. It was, and I had him on a podcast. And I think the last time I felt like that, I was probably like maybe 11. So the guy's name is Matt Garrison. He was on the podcast, and he has his own podcast. And he was doing like knee on belly. He was doing freaking cup on face. Like, he had like a Thai steel cup. So he was doing cup on face, just smashing me with his dick. Just all in my face. I'm like, and he was like twisting my arm. And I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible. I just felt like crying. Like, if I could cry, I would have just cried. Like, but I never forgot that. I never forgot that. Right. So, like, these cops, they need to experience that. Okay, what if the situation goes horribly wrong? Right? Experience that. So, experience that from a physical standpoint, and then experience it from a shooting tactical firearm standpoint. All right, when you go up on a car and they have it in their mind that, look, man, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. Look, we here now, right? So experience that. All right, I'm going for a domestic dispute. The guy's a little riled, the husband is a little riled up. right? The husband is a little riled. Okay, what's up, right? What's up? Experience that, and then experience that like, yo, he's a purple belt. He's a brown belt. You're by yourself. What do you do? Right? So yeah, man, I feel like, yo, the cops, they really need to experience that type of stuff. They just do. All right, here's the last, I think this is the last message from Bam. And this is probably what he was saying. But see, I'm not sure which one. Let's see what this one is. No, that was that. Let's check it right here.
Yeah, I guess my other point in that message was this jiu-jitsu would help a lot of these situations not escalate, basically. The reason they escalate is because these police officers feel like they cannot get control of the situation. They immediately lose control. I've seen lots of instances, where we've all seen where the cops, you got two cops and they can't subdue one assailant. Like, how the fuck does that happen? You're supposed to be highly trained. So that's what happens. They get lazy and they rather jump to that gun first before anything else.
All right.
Ask questions later.
Right. So yeah. See, like there. Like, come on, if it's two of y'all need to know what to do. Like, how does a person generate power and balance? Right? You need to know that. Like I know that. I know that. Like, I know. So if there's some type of physical altercation that I'm getting into, like, I know how a person generates power. I know how a person generates balance. So I'm aware of that. So I know where I need to cut off the power. I know where we need to have a disconnect, right? So I haven't been in an altercation, I would say, in probably a year. So I've been in one. I got my last altercation was probably last year, right? And that's the one where I was telling you guys, like, yo, he definitely had a bad day. It didn't end in his favor, I'm sure. But see, that's the thing, and this is how, this is how I get, like, I really get mad. Like a person can really get hurt because if you knew what I knew, right? If you knew what I knew, you wouldn't even have let it gone that far, right? But you were thinking, oh man, let me go ahead and get it in, let me go ahead and do what I got to do to this little guy. Let me go ahead and finish him off, Look, man, it's just another day in the office. It's like, yo, man, but it's not. You feel me? Like, yo, because if you was training like I train, you would not underestimate somebody. Like, anytime I get into, like, I avoid conflict. That's my number one thing. If I see a person and it looks like, yo, like this person could escalate, this person could do whatever. Look, man, I'm going to avoid him. Why? Because, like, yo, he could be a real killer. And I ain't talking about with weapons. I'm talking about just with the handwork, right? He could be like, yo, like, he could be a UFC fighter, right? He could be a purple belt. He could be a black belt. I don't know. Like, yo, but one thing I do know is that, like, yo, a black belt will destroy me. Like, I know that. So I give that to everybody. Everybody I walk past could be a black belt, right? So with your behavior, when you show me all of this, like, knucklehead and buffoonery, then that tells me that you're not a black belt. And that tells me that, like, yo, nah, man, you need to learn a lesson. Because, like, yo, it's real people out here who training every day for this. Like a lot of the guys, like, yo, they become bouncers. They look for these type of altercations. They put themselves in situations so that they can use it. Right? Let's listen.
You know what I'm saying? There was some dude that flipped out at the airport, and it took these two cops could not subdue him, and like 3 other civilians had to step in. So how the fuck are you a cop and supposed to be highly trained?
Right. Five Five Guys? Like, yo, y'all not selling burgers and hot dogs anymore? Like, Five Guys, man. Oh, Lord.
And you can't even do, what you're expected to do. And the guy didn't have a weapon or nothing. He clearly did not have a weapon. So it's kind of like, what are you scared of at this point? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's... And I know that feeling, like, from both sides. Like, I haven't taken, like, a ton of jiu-jitsu or nothing like you or nothing. But, I did a good solid 3 months, and the confidence you get, and even just wrestling with your boys, like let's say when we were younger, and you just be constantly wrestling with your boys, and then you got in a tussle with some other kids, or you have some jiu-jitsu training under your belt, you have so much more confidence going in, and you're not even scared, like, because you get in these positions, they might even be precarious positions where you're like, oh, in the other case, you'd be like, oh, shit. But you know what to do. You just shift your weight this way or that way, change the position, and now you're in control. Like with a simple step over.
Right. That's that's definitely accurate. And I think that cops they need to go 10 to 15 steps ahead of that. Like, because they need gun simulation training and they need physical simulation training. It's just no way around it, because they're put in these positions you could be put in this position tomorrow, right? You're a cop and you're listening. While you're listening, you could be put in this type of situation. So I feel like it's just really important that cops get this type of simulation training. Like it needs to happen 3 times a week, doing 2 hours, doing an hour to 2 hour training.
As opposed to like all this flailing and like brute force that, in most cases you try to do, I'm sure as a kid we would wrestle a lot more than as an adult. So like as an adult, if you ain't been in any kind of physical confrontation for a long time, you might panic. But I would expect a cop to have at least one day out of the week where they have a good 4-hour session, of, let's say, even 2-hour sessions of jiu-jitsu and 2-hour sessions of, mental stability training or something. I don't know. I'd like to see them do some training where they take these cops and, they run these drills where you got to arrest a person and you never know how this person is going to react. Like they'll set it up to where, like, this is all like inside of a gym or something. Like you hire some actors and you're like, tell some of the actors to give them a hard time,
And see, that's where I would say no, not actors, but cops that are higher level. They need higher level cops. They need to really experience the max and the threshold, because that's what happens. Your threshold gets reset. So now you can tolerate more. Like I got into a heated argument once with a guy. It was to the point where my testicles went up. Right? They went up into the carriage like, yo, all right, man. Nah, it's go time. Like, the testy was like, nah, man, we going up. You feel me? Look, man, it's go time right now. Right? Testes had to tuck up on their own, right? They was just, they heard the tone and they was like, nah, man, it's time to put your hands on them, man. Don't worry about us. We going up. Any kicks, any strikes, we ready for them, right? So, and so it got to that point, right? But I was still able to be calm and de-escalate the whole situation, right? Boom, it didn't even get physical. It didn't. And that person, I'm sure later on that person was like, man, I'm glad it didn't get physical. Right? Like, yo, yeah. Look, man. Look, I'm in control. Right? I'm in control. And that's all we're saying, that we want our cops to be in control. All right, keep going.
We'll go follow the rules. You can even feed some of these actors some of their personal information about, like, hey, this cop's wife name is this and that. Tell them, when he gives you orders to get on the ground, these are all training sessions. tell him how you're gonna fuck his wife in the mouth or something.
He's like, yeah, man, Bernice, tonight, ooh, Bernice is gonna get it. Like, what? What did you say? Like, yeah, Claire Redfield, ooh, man, I'm gonna get all in that. I'm gonna go medieval on that ass.
Like, just do it. Like, because the whole point of it is you want to get under the skin of these cops, because that way when it happens in the real world, they can fucking keep their temper. They've had
Right.
they've had these feelings, come up to the surface, and they're like, it's not like something that's never hit them before. Of course, somebody in the streets ain't gonna tell you something like that about your wife, but those emotions that you get, that's rush of,
Like, Joni, what's good? Fuck. Sue Lin. They turning the Tong Po on us. Like, man, this is a real villain right now.
like, rage. They don't know how to deal with it better. So yeah, 2 hours every week of jiu-jitsu training, and if not more, and mental health would, I think, resolve a lot of these.
Yeah, man. And that's really all we're saying. That's all we're saying, is that we want our cops to have some training. And we've gone on. This is like an hour. But hey, that's just how it be sometimes, okay? That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Things will never be the same. Oh. Right? So, you guys know that I was trying to talk about some serial killers, but I guess I'll be talking about them tomorrow. But that's okay, because I picked up a book, because it's called the Big Book of Serial Killers, right? It's the Big Book of Serial Killers, an encyclopedia of serial killers. So this way, when I talk about it, we'll hit we'll hit some of the big ones, and we'll hit some of the lesser known ones, because one of the main things that I was even thinking before I even read the book, it was man, like, yo, all of this stuff happened in like the 70s and a little bit prior, but like, how come none of that stuff is going on now? Well, I was wrong. Okay. It's still going on. And one of the things that you got to understand is that like, yo, it was going on. And I'm like, man, this just brings us around to the point that, we have too many people. We have too many people here on this planet. We just have too many. Like, we really don't, we shouldn't have these numbers. I mean, like, I can understand rape, right? Like, I can understand it. Just from, we go back 10,000 years ago, looking at nature, right? If you look at nature, all right, these cats, we look at now, right? You go outside, like, yo, the cat is walking out, and then boom, this other cat. Or you look at the dog, this dog just, he just jumps on this other dog. This dog doesn't know him. This dog didn't create some type of relationship with him, but he's already, look, he's in there. He's just trying to spread, right? So you have that. I can understand from that perspective, but most of these serial killers, they all have a rape element to them. So they rape, not all of them, because there were some that did not rape their victims. They only killed their victims. But the majority did have some type of sexual connotation, some type of sexual connection with their victim, right? So it's like, okay, so are you trying to spread your DNA? Are you trying to spread your genes? Or what? Because, all right, you rape them, then you kill them. Well, you're not spreading your genes now, right? So now what's the point? So it's a humiliation thing, right? They want to humiliate this person. Like, so they're doing this to humiliate them, to really just, bring them down to the lowest level, and then kill them. Or they usually, some of them do this crazy acts after they kill them, right? So it's definitely, it's a lot of, I mean, it's just crazy. And you see certain patterns. Like, so far, I think, I might be in the D's, I believe. And we'll get into it. We'll definitely get into it, tomorrow. Like I said, I mean, not tomorrow, but the next time. And that one is going to be short. So I'm not really even going to be able to go in the way I want to because I got to finish this project. So what I probably do is save that topic, and that'll be back on my long format. So the next one will be probably 30 minutes. So the next few for this month will probably be around 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. And then once my project is up, then I'll kick it back up. I like around 90 minutes. So like even now, this is short, right? This is short. Like I said, I really like 90 minutes to 2 hours, but I really need to knock this out. So yeah, the next few are going to be even shorter than this. But once I get done with the project, then we're going to really get into the serial killer because it's still happening. Like that's the thing, just where the media and mass communication and mass news and just mass dissemination of news, where it is right now, it's like, on one hand, we're saying, okay, you can't really give these type of people a platform because then you're going to have more. And then on the other hand, we say, well, we need a little bit of juice, we need a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of that Cajun. To spice things up, let's go ahead and give them one. They need one. They haven't had one in a while, right? So it's that thing, but it's still going on, and we're going to look. Okay, we're going to really look at murder, right? All right, when Cain killed Abel, like the first murder, right? Which we really don't know the first murder, right? And we're talking about nature. Right? We're talking about nature. What is it to murder and why? Why do we murder? And then we're going to really look at this serial killer type of thing and just really explore. And then look at a few of them. Like I said, look at the big boys. Of course, we're going to have to get Dahmer. We're going to have to get Bundy. Who else? The Clown. Wayne Gacy, right? So we definitely gonna have to hit some of them, hit them up. So let's see. This is frozen on me. That's cool. That's no biggie though. So yeah. So that was that. Esteban, thanks for dropping the comment and just interacting with us, giving us another voice to listen to and some other ideas. So I definitely appreciate it. Let's see. We'll drop that number just in case if somebody else would like to leave a comment or leave a question or leave whatever. You're like, yeah, man, I had some ideas about whatever one. So it doesn't really matter which podcast you guys may have a question or a comment. You can, let's see. Trying to go back. I guess I should just like have it written somewhere. So that if you have a comment or question you guys would like to submit, just go to my Google Voice number, which is 304-410-0363. So just, rewind it. You guys want to hear it again. Other than that, Reese's PCCCCs. Have a good week and all of that jazz.
Play the game. No, I have to run away. Make it to Bay. Then I know that I'll be safe for the day. We're just cops and robbers. and robbers. Who will see their family? We're just cops and robbers, running down the street. We're just cops and robbers. Who will see their family tonight? Play the game. You know I have to chase you. Can't escape. Only rules can break you tonight. We're just cops and robbers, running down the street. We're just cops and robbers. Who will see their family? We're just cops and robbers, running down the street. We're just cops and robbers. Who will see their family? We're just cops and robbers, running down the street. We're just cops and robbers. Who will see their family tonight? Tonight.